Hey, just a video to show you how to use Sign Up Genius to set it up for your reflection or transition conversations. But before we dive into Sign Up Genius, we're actually going to get into Zoom to get that ready to go to use with Sign Up Genius, so we can build that right into our slots that parents and students can sign into. So we're going to go ahead and sign into Zoom. Once we've done that, you want to be under meetings, and then you want to go to personal meeting room. So instead of setting up a bunch of different meetings for each one, we're just going to utilize our personal meeting room to do less work in Zoom. And then we're just going to change a few options around that to make sure it's ready to go for what we want. So this is the topic right here, David Van Leeuwen's personal meeting room. Then meeting ID, meeting password, I cannot change this, right? But this is the information that we're gonna be using in Sign Up Genius, is the meeting ID, and then we're also gonna enter in the meeting password. Then from there, make sure that for video, I have host on and participant on. You could have participant off and then have them kind of turn it on afterwards, but I feel like on is probably a better default. And then for meeting options, I took off enable join before host. I also took off mute participants upon entry, and then I turned on enable waiting room, and then also record the meeting automatically on the local computer. Enable waiting room will allow you to make sure that another parent or student can join while you're in the middle of a meeting, right? So you can kind of see that waiting room and let people in as you'd like, which is good. And then record the meeting. I feel like whenever you're dealing with small groups, it's always good to have that option on. So that way, when the meeting is done, it starts recording, or I shouldn't say it starts recording, but starts downloading the video and encoding it. And you can cancel it if there's nothing to note in that video, but you can't, record the video after the fact. So it's good to always have this on and then cancel it once the meeting is done if there's nothing of importance in that meeting. All right, now that we have this all set up, keep that tab open, and we're gonna go into Sign Up Genius. All right, so now let's dive into Sign Up Genius and show you how to set up these sessions. So first of all, I'm gonna log in. If you haven't created an account, of course you're gonna have to do that, but there's nothing fancy or crazy with that process, really intuitive. So once I've logged in, I'm going to go ahead and create a sign up. So that's at the very top right. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and then I'm going to put in the details for the event that I'm creating this sign up for. So let's say that we're doing this for the middle school reflection. So I would put in here middle school year-end reflection. Now, just kind of as a side note, if you're doing a sign up for multiple grades or events during one time, put it all into one sign up, so that when one person signs up for a time slot, right, then it's gone and you don't have multiple ones you have to coordinate. Under group, I've already set up a group called CHHS that only applies to my account. Think of this really as just a folder. If you had multiple groups you were running signups for, then it would just kind of be a way that it's all organized under this groups section right here. And then under type category, I just put scheduling and then education. This is really not important right here. Now for a theme design, there's a bunch of different options. Sign Up Genius Gray is totally fine, right? If you want something a little bit cleaner, there's one called Appointment that's really good that you can kind of scroll to or search for. And then from there, we're going to save and continue. All right, we want the format to be sorted by date. I think that's the cleanest layout. And then we're going to want to add the dates that were available. So I'm going to go ahead and click Add Dates for this. Now here's the part that's a little bit tricky. I don't want to go add from calendar. I want to go add time slots. And then from there, I can select, let's say June 15th for the middle school reflection. And let's say that on June 15th, I know I'm only going to be available in the morning. So then I could go ahead and put, well, from 8:30 a.m. to, let's say, noon, I can have sessions every 15 minutes. Now, as a note, when I put 12 p.m., that's not the time of my last session. That's the point that I'm no longer available. So my last session, if I do the recommended 15 minutes for these interviews, would be at 11:45. And then from here, it leaves the option to add 14 time slots. Before I do that, though, I'm going to want to put in the location is the Zoom meeting ID. So I'm going to go back to my Zoom tab for my personal meeting room. I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste in my meeting ID under this. So again, that was under kind of the camera right here for location. And then I'm putting in my Zoom meeting ID, and then I can go add 14 time slots. And now I have all of these time slots ready to go put in. Let's say I need to add more dates, right? I want to add more days. So let's say, for example, that I know that on June 16th, And 17th, I'm available later on in the day. So for the 16th to the 17th, I'm available, let's say from 1 p.m. And yes, I can do multiple days at a time on this. 1 p.m. to let's say 5 p.m. to allow for a little bit of availability later on in the day for students and parents. And then I want that every 15 minutes for the time slots. And again, I'm going to go ahead and enter in my Zoom ID that I already have copied. So I'm just pasting, and that's now in there. And now I've got 32 time slots from that time for the 2 days, right? 4 hours for 2 days every 15 minutes. So I'm going to add those time slots. Okay, now those are in there. I'm going to stop there, but of course you could add more dates, right? So if you needed to add for the next 2 days, you could do that as well, and then it's good to go. Now that you've added the dates, now we're going to add the time slots. So this is just basically saying that on every single one of these, I just want to have one of these time slots, right? So I could just put middle school reflection on here. Okay, and then I want just one person signing up for all of the different dates. Before I do this, I want to put in the meeting password into the note for this. That way, when parents sign up, they'll receive an email that has this comment. So Zoom password is 836146 for my personal meeting room. It's going to be different for yours, obviously, and you'd have a different ID. So that's why you have to set up that Zoom information first. So we're going to go ahead and do one on all different dates and press save. And now on the right column of this, as long as it's worked out, yep, there we go. We have all of these different slots for each one of these 15-minute time slots that I've made for the dates. So again, you want to do the dates first, work through all of that, and then afterwards go ahead and add the slots. And now we have all these different spots. And again, the password is built right in there, so it's all in one place for parents. So now that I've got all that, I can go ahead and save and continue. For this, we're going to ask participants for name, yes, email, yes, comment, optional. I'm going to click more on this. I think it's a good idea to have phone. If you want to have that required or optional or not, totally okay, up to you. And then I'm going to add a custom question. I already built this. I'll go through the process of kind of building it from scratch. I'm going to put create new question and put student name. The reason why I'm doing this is sometimes from the parent name, it's hard to tell who the student actually is, and I want that to be required. Now, I know for students, they'll feel silly because they're going to enter in their name twice, but it is what it is, and that's fine. All right. Under general settings for preferences, I want to take off, allow people to swap slots with each other. We don't want people moving things around, themselves and taking slots away from other people. And then under notifications, I prefer it to be 1 day in advance myself, I think. And then I think it's important, notify me by email, up to you if you want to have that going to your inbox or not. So turn that on or off. I think that's it in terms of what we want for settings. So we can press save and continue. And then we are good to go to publish. If you want to look at the preview, that's all here for you, right? So you can kind of see how that looks. But let's publish this. And now I have my link, right, that I can now copy to email and put in Classroom. And now let's take a look at the parent side and see how that appears. So now let me show you the parent end of things so you can see what their experience will be with Sign Up Genius. So I put in the link from the published Sign Up Genius thing that I made, and this is what appears. So basically now parents and students can look through and see all the different sign up slots. It's done by date, so here's June 15th and then the 16th. And here's how it looks when a slot is already taken. So let's say that they want to sign up for 9 a.m. on June 15th. They would simply click sign up and then go to submit and sign up. Once they've done that, it's going to bring them to this kind of form page where they can fill in a few things. This comment is optional. It doesn't note things are optional, so I assume that most people will just kind of go ahead and fill in everything. They need to fill in their email address. I'm going to show you what the email kind of is once they get afterwards. And then, of course, the student name that we picked as an option so that we know exactly, who we're signing up for. Then we're going to go to sign up now. It will take us to a confirmation. It right away is sending an email to the parent or the student at this point. Now, I am going to note that I played around with some other templates, and this one does not have obnoxious ads, while the other ones seem to have really obnoxious ads. So if I were you, I would definitely pick the normal Sign Up Genius template, the one we're using here with the gray and the orange, because it is a lot more user-friendly and that doesn't have really bad ads as opposed to some of the other templates. All right, so now that I've done that, I'm going to show you the email that I received. So this is what I ended up getting, is this confirmation that I've signed up for the middle school reflection. And here's a Zoom password listed right there. Now, what parents would actually have to do in order to get into the meeting is they would go to View Sign Up. Okay, and then afterwards, they would go ahead and click on Zoom Meeting. So unfortunately, this is the only way for them to get to that unless you send them an additional email or an additional post saying, here's the meeting room that you need to join. And then, of course, they would just open the Zoom meetings. They find the password in the notes here that they ended up getting in the email, right? So here's the password, 836146. They would enter that and then they're good to go to join the meeting. All right, so that shows the parent side of things. Hopefully that helps.